Hey, what's up, everyone? December 30th here in Michigan. We got some warmer weather. It's about 50 degrees, no snow. Opposite of the blizzard we had last weekend during Christmas. So I thought this would be a good time to talk about the different rods and reels I use for Finesse. Again, Finesse is my go-to. It's my strong suit. But in particular, I want to talk to you about a specific rod and then another rod that I really enjoy for Ned rigging specifically. So the first one I want to get into, it's called a Lew's TP1 Black. Now, this is an interesting rod. The reason I like this rod is because it has the Lew's VTR, which is the vibrating tube ring. So what that does is brings everything from the rod down into the handle, and you can feel everything. I mean, every slightest touch on the bottom, any sort of subtle bite, you won't miss a bite on these rods. Now, the reason I like these rods, so for my drop shot, I run a 6.9. It's a medium light with a fast action. The reason I decided to go with the fast action, watching one of Brian Nowak's videos, he talks about with the extra fast, when you set your hook with a drop shot, a lot of times those smallies are gonna come right up, and that extra fast tip will lift too fast to them, and it gives them that leverage to be able to spit the hook. So that's where a fast action kind of gives you a little bit more play to be able to control that if they surge up. So that's kind of why I went with the fast action, and I can't complain. I rarely lose a fish on a drop shot. I think last year during my tournament run, I might have lost 2 fish the entire time on a drop shot. It's just excellent. Now that goes into also, it's not just the rod action, but it also goes with the hooks I use. I think the bait a little bit too, the reel plays into it. So I'm going to talk about all that today. So back to the rod though. The reason I like the vibrating tube ring, I kind of went over it, it transfers everything. And I'm talking the slightest bite, you'll feel it in this rod in your hand. It's unreal. Like before I even knew what the VTR was, I bought one of these rods and it just blew my mind. I said, something's different about this rod compared to my other rods. And I looked it up, and it's that vibrating tube ringer, the VTR, which is a Lew's, unique to Lew's. It's patented by Lew's. Yeah, having a brain fart. Oh, what I was gonna talk about next. So I did some research. I actually spoke to a Lew's representative about the VTR. This is where it gets interesting to me. So the TP1 Black, your spinning rods are gonna run anywhere from $139 maybe to $149 stack of warehouse prices. I think that is more than reasonable. Here's why. The only other rod lines in Lew's that has the VTR is the Lew's Team Lew's Elite Series and the Team Lew's Pro TI. Now the price differences, I wrote that stuff down. The price differences, the Team Lew's Elite Series are $350 flat rate for any of them. The two Team Lew's Pro TIs are $270 to $299. The TP1 Black is $139. I think the most expensive casting rod that I picked up in the TP1 Black was $159. It's a hell of a deal. You're saving a lot of money here for this specific, what do I want to say? Function of the rod, I guess. So back to the drop shot, I rock on my drop shot the 6.9, and I run a Shimano Vanford. It's 2,500. Now the reason I like this is the Vanford runs at 6.3 ounces. It has the MGL rotor, and it's Hagane forged or Hagane forged, I believe, which is 30% stronger than their Stratix. It's lightweight and it's durable. It's just an awesome reel, and it pairs perfectly with the TP1 Black in this size anyways, the 6.9. So that's what I run there. And then for line, I run the FC Super Sniper, which a buddy of mine that runs a guide service, John, over at Get Guide Services, he runs steelhead and salmon charters out of Allegan, Michigan. He turned me on to the FC Super Sniper. He runs it with all of his leaders. And I was having issues with my fluorocarbon constantly breaking. You know, I wouldn't say constantly, but more than I preferred, even when I was tying knots. And he turned me on to this. Now, the thing is, the FC Super Sniper line anywhere from $24 to $26 for a 200-yard spool. It's pricey, but it does the job, and it's a great all-around line. So getting into the hook I use, oops, almost had a Bill Dance moment there. Getting into the hook I use, this is a Trocar. I don't know if you can see it there. This is a Trocar Helix. This is a size 1. What I love about this hook is that swivel there, if you can see that. The reason I like this swivel, it keeps me from having line twist, and this hook just rotates so freely on this swivel. I can tie a good knot to my main line, and then what I do when I'm running my weight line, or however you want to call it, I just double knot it. Okay, I just double knot to the back eyelet, bottom eyelet, and then I double knot to my weight. In my opinion, or my mind, the way I look at it is I'm not putting a really durable knot on that hook, but it's strong enough to where it'll bust free of rocks and stuff. But if it's hung up, it's gonna break. It's gonna pop off. And I'm fine with that. I'd rather lose the weight than the whole rig. When I'm out on the Great Lakes, I'm tournament fishing, especially in the mornings, St. Clair, Erie, there's Detroit River. Actually, I'm gonna take Detroit River out of there. That's a whole different animal. But when I'm on St. Clair, Erie in the mornings, especially if it's more calm, I'll run a 1/8 weight. And I love the teardrop design. The reason I like the teardrop design is it's really versatile for weeds and structure, rocks and wood and stuff. I do have some barrel or cylindrical drop shot weights as well. And I'll run those if I'm specifically in like weed structure. This just seems to just pop right out of weeds. That's what it looks like. But I hardly ever have to change from my teardrop because the teardrop does really well in weeds too. I run a 1/8 and it's tungsten. And the reason I run a 1/8 is I just seem to have more of a bite ratio and hookup ratio with a 1/8. And I run it in pretty choppy waters. Now, if we get some rollers, some big waves, I'll jump up to a 1/4 ounce. Rarely do I ever have a 3/16 ounce. But that 1/8 tungsten is gonna get me down to where I need to be as fast as I need to be. And it falls slow enough, maybe fish see it on its way down. So I really like the 1/8 and the 1/4 ounce. And I'll run that, the 1/8 in 20 feet of water. Now, anything over that, I like to jump up to a 1/4 ounce, get it down there a little bit faster. But if it's dead calm, it's 25 feet deep, 30 feet deep, I'll run a 3/16. So for baits on the drop shot, of course, Great Lakes Finesse drop worm. And this color is killer on St. Clair. For some reason, they love the white on St. Clair, the pearl. So this is a drop shot bait I'll go to. I'll run Berkeley, whatever these are called. The minnow, you know. I love the scented stuff. I can't get enough of the scented stuff with Berkeley. I do have Max Scents. They're packed away. I love Max Scents. I'll use those as well. Yeah, so that's kind of my drop shots. Some of the other things I'm going to be trying this spring, summer, is I was really impressed with the way that this looks, this Geekrat Revival Shad. It's a Japanese bait. But I'm always really impressed with Geekrat. They put out really quality lures, and these Revival Shads were on closeout on Tackle Warehouse. I got them for a pretty good deal, but you have a really subtle action there with the pintail. It's not overly big, stinks. And I'm a huge scented bait guy, because I believe that if fish are being finicky and they swim up to your bait and they're on the ropes about, is that real or not? They smell it, they're gonna get it, they're gonna bite it. And here's why I think that is. I think it's because everything's happening really fast. Fish is, in a fish's mind, they swim up, they gotta decide, in milliseconds. Is that real? Is it fake? Am I gonna have to chase it? You know, and as soon as they can confirm to themselves that that's real, they're gonna eat it. So if they swim up to it, you know, and this is all happening really quick, I swim up to it, I don't know if it's real or fake. Is it gonna run from me? Oh, I smell it, yep, that's real, boom, bite it. Where with some of your unscented baits, I feel like if you have a finicky fish or a bigger fish that's been alive for long enough and he swims up to it and you might want to bite it, he may not, because it's not scented, you know, and then your action and how you present that lure is going to play a much bigger effect. I just feel like a scented lure is going to give you a buffer, especially if you're just starting to drop shotting and stuff. So other drop shot baits. Oh, of course, yeah, the drop minnow by Great Lakes. This is another really good pintail bait. I'll show you guys this real quick. This is a real good smaller bait. It's subtle. If they're feeling, you know, another pintail, maybe they're not wanting a big meal or a big presentation. This is a great bait. They'll eat this up. The action is great. This has natural buoyancy, so it's going to stay lateral in the water, which is a big thing for drop shotting. You want as realistic as possible. Another thing, a lot of guys will, well, some guys will rig up their drop shots weedless with Texas rigs and maybe body hook them. I 99% of the time will nose hook my baits because A, I'm using smaller baits. They're going to be able to inhale it. B, I love the action that you get from a nose hook. It's great. And I'm gonna go over all these. I have a bait tank, a little tank that I'm gonna show you guys kind of how these rods work and some of these baits look in the water. So that'll be at the end of the video, so stick around for that. Okay, moving on to the next thing. So 6'9", Shimano Vanford 2500. It's the HGF, I think is what, yeah, Shimano Vanford 2500. 8-pound fluorocarbon from FC Super Sniper. And I think all those things coming together on that rod, that TP1 Black, it sets you up for success. So jumping into another TP1, this is the 7-foot, and this is a medium power with a fast action. Now this for me is hair jigs. I'm gonna run hair jigs on this. Small tubes, micro tubes. I'll run micro tubes on this. But yeah, that's gonna be about what I run on this, is my real small jigs. Okay, finesse jigs and hair jigs, things like that. This right here is the 1/8 Outcast by Seth Fighter. I really love these hair jigs. They have a great action in the water. I'll show you that later. But this, with this longer tip, I'm getting a little bit better of a cast action. And, and also, this is the Shimano Ultegra. Now this one runs, I think 7.3 is what I looked up. 7.9 ounces, so it's a bit heavier. So you're gonna go slap this on a lighter rod. Your balance might feel a little off, it's still gonna work. But I love the Ultegras as well. It's a great middle of the road for pricing spinning reel. And I'll run the, like I said, the 2500 all day. You can jump up to the 3000 in the Ultegra if you want more line, and you can run about the same line on it. 8-pound is usually what I go to for just about all my finesse. Sometimes 6, but very rarely. Another feature about the Vanford, I'm gonna jump back to that with my drop shot rod. It has a long stroke spool on it. So the spool depth that you're getting with the Ultegra versus the Vanford, you're getting more line. You're gonna be able to put more line on your Vanford. So what that, kind of where that comes into play is like on your 3000 for your Ultegra. If I wanted to put more line for longer casting, longer casting for, really subtle presentations, I'm gonna throw on a 3000 because I can get it out. With the 2500 Vanford, you're getting a lighter, reel with a longer spool, long stroke spool, where you'd have to upgrade the Ultegra 2500 to the 3000. You get that with the 2500 Vanford. Going to my Ned rigs. Now, for my Ned rigs, I run a St. Croix Premier. This is a 2-piece. Didn't know it when I bought it. It was a mess up on my part. But this for my Ned rigs is perfect. And I run a Vanford on this as well. The balance is right there. It's everything I need. So, yeah, I'll run anywhere from a 1/16 to a 1/8 Ned rig on here. And this is just the mushroom head by Z-Man. Now when it comes to Ned rigging, some of my first go-to baits are gonna be rabbit baits, rabbit craws. Okay, these baits right here, I don't know if you've ever seen them or heard of them. Let's see if I can get this to focus. They all have fox fur in them. And it's a beautiful lure. It looks great in the water. I'm gonna run it in the tank a little later. So that's one of my Neds. Obviously, the Finesse TRD. That's another one. Now another one for craws I really like is the TRD craw. This is a great one. I mean, if you have anything to do, or if you've ever ran Z-Man, you know how the stuff floats, how it works, the way it looks in the water. The stuff they make it out of, the Elizatech, it's something to behold. It's pretty cool. It has its ups and downs getting it back off the hook, but that's for another time. Another one I'll run for Neds is the TRD ticklers. I've had a lot of success on these. These are a great bait by Z-Man as well. This is the Houdini color. So you get like a little bit of brown and with red and black fleck in there. Other Ned rigs. Offhand, that's gonna be about what I run for Neds. I'll run these darters on drop shot and Negs. This is another rabbit baits. This is a Goby. This really works well in St. Clair, Erie. Now the thing is, these are a little expensive. Okay, it's $8 for a 4-pack. I don't often lose them either, and that's with nose hooking or Ned rigging. I don't typically lose them, but you do lose one or two, so they're a little on the pricey side, but I feel like it's worth it. Ned rigging. This is another one I'll run. I really enjoy Robo-Worm. Love it. I'll get into that a little later too. But this is a small Robo-Worms version of like a Ned worm. So this thing works great. Yeah, and then so let's jump into the next thing. And this is where it kind of gets out of finesse fishing. And I know that's what this video is about, but I still wanted to talk about the TP1 since I have this casting rod here. So this is the TP1 Black. It's a 7.3 medium heavy with a fast action. Now I like to rock my tubes on this thing. Again, the sensitivity is unparalleled. You feel everything. You feel every bite. I'm running for my tube setup. I have 10-pound FC Super Sniper. This is the Shimano Corrado 200XG. I think it's a 711. It's an 8-5. So, you know, you just got to be mindful of your retrieves, and a lot of times I'll just be popping this. Good thing I don't have a ceiling fan up there. So yeah, that's my tube setup on a TP1 Black, and I can't say enough good things about these. When I'm rocking a tube, I'll run a Trocar. For like stupid rigging, I'll run a Trocar, which is right over here. This is just a Trocar tube hook. This is a 3/8. Trocar tube bait 3/8, perfect for a 3 3/4 inch tube. So you probably know what tubes I'm already running. If you guessed it, Angler's Choice. This is what I have on there right now. This is the St. Clair Goby, which is a little different color. But they're 3 3/4 tubes are great out in the Great Lakes, and the action on them rather looks really good. We'll go over that in the tank too. Tons of different colors. They're running a closeout right now, and they're 3 3/4. If you go to anglerchoice.ca, I believe they're out of Canada. They're running a really good deal on their 3 3/4 right now. I think they're $450. Don't quote me on that. And they're coming out with something pretty special. If you keep your eyes open, they're going to have a micro tube, which I'm really excited about. I think it's either 1 3/4 or 2 1/2. But they're doing all their color line, as far as I know, in this micro tube, which has been a huge thing out on the Great Lakes lately. So I'm excited for that. Going over some tackle for kind of end of the video. This is what the Seth Fighter, the Outcast tackle, that's what that looks like. These are not crazy expensive. I think I paid $5 for a 2-pack. These are great. Hair jigs. What else? Am I missing anything? This is what the Trocar Helix looks like for drop shotting. It's a good hook. So yeah, I probably missed some stuff. Bear with me. Pretty new to this stuff. So, but now we're gonna jump over to the tank and see what this stuff looks like in the water.